Good morning. This is Steve Turner again. I did a video late yesterday on what's in it for me. And I got some feedback on the video from some pretty reliable sources. And they asked me some questions, and the result of the questions showed that I hadn't covered everything I should have covered in the video. So I'm going to do it again. If you saw the first video, you're good. If you see the second video, this one, you'll be better. But it's up to you. So here we go. So I changed the title on this video to discuss what's in it for me before the question comes up. The preference really is to avoid the question entirely. And that's what I'd like to talk about today. Because anytime you get to the point where anybody, any employee, whether they're non-management or management, if they get to the point where in their heart they're thinking, what's in this for me? It comes out of their mouth later. So by the time it comes out of their mouth, it's already deeply rooted in them. And there are ways that we can avoid this. And they're very logical ways, actually. But I'm going to walk through them and share them with you today. First of all, a lot of it goes through the original training sequence, the follow-up right after the training sequence, and what goes on into the future. So let's take a look at that. In the normal training sequence, when someone comes to work on day one, they are the most moldable they'll ever be. Why? They came to do something new. They have every intent in the world of being successful. That's why they're there. So when they walk in day one, they are the most moldable. It's the time to lay out where they fit in the organization so they know that they're a member of a team. I mean, if you have an organization with 10 people, then they should know where they fit in the big scheme of things. If you have an organization of 100 people, their job is still important and they should know how it fits into the main scheme. If you're in an organization that has many locations, then you talk about it from the perspective of perhaps the location they're in and the role they play in that location. So regardless of the situation, everyone needs to know where they fit in the big scheme of things. That's actually it's like the number one desire of an employee when they get started. How do I fit in? All right, so that's number one. Number two, we have a solid training plan. And we go through the training plan just as it's designed. Now, this is one of the things that is a common question when it comes to managing our use of time. Right? Technically, you can't manage time. It's there. It's not. It doesn't change. It's available. But we can manage how we use time. Right? So we come in, we put this plan together, and we say, this is exactly what I need to do to take this new employee and get them positioned where they can be the most successful possible. All right? Rock and roll. Up comes a distraction. We need to spend more time managing distractions, as in push them to the side, so that we can stay focused on the things that we've already determined to be important. It includes training that new employee. So we do it through the training plan, we follow up, we train, we follow up, we train, we follow up, etc. For however long it takes for whatever the job is. Doesn't matter. Whether it's 2 days, 2 months, whatever. We just walk through the process to make sure they're well trained. Once somebody is well trained, they feel that they can contribute to the organization. They feel that they can contribute to the team, right? So that's important. But you get another thing comes out of the capable business. Once someone is capable, feels they can do their job, it gives them an assurance and a confidence that they could even do more. And that's a great place to be. So based on completing the initial training, the initial follow-up, I like to ask people a question. And they're not expecting this question. I like to sit down and ask them, where would you like to be in 5 years? You may get a deer in the headlights look because they probably never heard the question before. They may say, I don't know, I never thought of it. Okay, that's okay, no problem. How about 3 years? And they may stammer and come up with something or maybe not. But what's the point of the question? It shows that you're concerned about them individually. Because the perfect scenario is that when you have a new employee, well trained, they're fired up, they're ready to go, that while they are doing the things to help the business and they're doing what they were hired for, they can also get ready to do more things. And you can, in the journey, help them accomplish their personal objectives while also accomplishing the business objectives. I've hardly ever seen this fail. And I've never, ever had an employee that didn't have other desires. And I've had some good employees. I even lose a couple now and then because they want to move on and do greater things. That's okay. I am thrilled to death to have a rock star for as long as they're with me. When the time comes, they come and say, Steve, I just got my golden opportunity because I can't provide it for them. That's a good thing, right? Wish them the best. What do we do next? Start over. Take the pleasure of training another employee. All right. So one of the objectives I have in how I train people and how I ask them about their personal life and how I try to put something together so that both parts of their lives are a benefit to me from the business side and them as the employee side is I want to move something. And here it is. I'm going to show it to you. We've heard of the traditional bell curve, right? I'll give you a picture of it. It's right here. This is the typical bell curve. And what this bell curve says is that from all the employees you have, and this is common thinking. However many employees you have some at the low end, some at the high end, and a bunch in the middle, right? So on this particular graph, it shows that there's 20% at the low level of engagement, there's 20% at the high end, and there's 60% in the middle. That's basically what this graph shows. But let me ask you a question. What is the result of a graph that looks like this? Average. You get average results because it's an average distribution. Now, when you look at the world might look like this. But I'm going to challenge you today that your world doesn't look like this. You can change it. And that's why I go through the process of making sure I understand people as individuals as well as job seekers. And I want the graph to look like this, just like this, where I have got, yes, I've got a few percent at the bottom, but notice where the bottom starts, at about 50% effective, because I'm training them well right out of the gate. So I may have 20% at the bottom getting trained. Then I'll have 30% in the next phase of being trained and learning more things. But my objective, I want over half of my people to be performing at the high end. So I don't want a bell curve. I want this curve. This is the excellence curve. And that's why I do this stuff. That's why I've always taken this approach, because I want this. And I have had this many, many times. In fact, I'll tell you something on the side. I got into a conversation one time where someone came to me and said, this is when I still worked in the corporate world. And they said, well, it's time for annual payroll increases. Here's the bell curve. Where do your people fall on the bell curve? I said, they don't. He didn't know me that well at the point he's saying this. I said, no, my people are at the high end. I can't distribute payroll increases based on a bell curve that doesn't apply. Well, we had a conversation about that, but I won the conversation because I had evidence of how successful my team was. So that's all good, right? Okay. So let's come back around here. Now, the thing with what's in it for me, when we start off training people and we take this journey that I'm suggesting, and then on periodic basis, you keep touching base with them. How are you doing? How are you doing? Where are you on your journey? How's your job? It's not the annual review. Anybody that has an annual review is worthless. You need periodic reviews. I think 6 months is good, but reviews aren't simply sit down and have formal reviews. Just go talk to somebody. You get a feel for who they are, and you can get a feel for where they are. Is there any element at all of the what's in it for me? Because, as I said before, if anybody starts thinking what's in it for me inside in that person's heart, they're questioning it before it comes out. It's already deeply seated, right? Now you have an issue to fix. Okay? Now, one of the things that I was asked, which I want to go through here. Well, first let me cover this. Engagement or lack of engagement. We know that there are statistics out there, and statistics have been given forever and ever. And one of those statistics is this. Basically speaking, only 20% of our employees, plus or minus a percentage point, every year it's the same result, are fully engaged in their job. The other 80% are not engaged at all or marginally engaged. That's not getting the best result of your business unit, nor is it helping the employees individually succeed and grow. So now here's the next question. We get stats, that's good, and we get views from people on what we should be doing to fix those, right? That's good, except there's always a piece missing. And that's what I'm offering you today. How to do it. How do I actually change the statistics? That piece is grossly missing. If it was there, the number wouldn't be the same, right? Now, so that leads to the next question. What do I do about that? All right, I'm going to run through quickly some scenarios, and then we'll wrap up. First of all, I want to say that if I'm talking to business owners now, when you first get started, if you are a solopreneur, you're all by yourself, and you're thinking of adding the first employee, we can help you learn in advance how best to lead an employee. Because lots of entrepreneurs, as fired up as they are, don't know the answer to that question, and they can easily stumble. So we can take care of that for you because we have on our website, and our website will appear at the end here. There are training audios there that can be downloaded, and it could be a self-help. So you can just go through the material and learn it. And you get a chance to chat with me, and I'll help you get you guided in the right direction, right? That's the first scenario. Okay, the second scenario is that you have employees, right? But no managers. So you can probably add up to 6 employees without having somebody designated as a manager, or you're going to have to fill the role. And there's probably other things you can do. So once you get to the point of you're leading up to no managers, we can train you as the business owner how to work with those. So if you've already got a situation of having a number of employees, we can help you get in shape on that. And we do that as well. Okay. Then the next section happens. For the most part, when you have 7 to 50 employees, and the number can vary based on the industry, but basically you have a single layer of management up to about 50 employees. So we can help in that area. It's the same approach. It's just you got a little bigger group of people to work with. So you have not only the owner that needs to be trained, but so do the managers need to be trained. So the employees who are getting the benefit of all this are led correctly. All right. The last scenario, and this goes from an organization roughly of 51 people or greater. Now they're going to end up with multiple levels of management. And I had discussed in a previous video the impacts of adding layers of management, so I'm not going to go through that here. But we have a program in place as well to help multiple level management groups get retrained to learn these skills so they can do their very best and to avoid the discussion of what's in it for me. Stop it before the question even comes. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for listening. We'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.